There are thousands of Indian restaurants in London, but only 7 Michelin Star Indian restaurants in London. Welcome to the ultimate guide to London's Michelin Star Indian restaurants. I'm Beck, BoopFoodie, a food and travel blogger, and I'm joined today by my husband Chigsy. We've spent the last year dining at all of London's Michelin Star Indian restaurants, and it's all been leading up to this moment, this video, where we tell you exactly what they're like. If you're new here, I'm a food and travel blogger, and I share the best food guides and travel guides to help you plan your holidays, so you know exactly which restaurants to visit on your holidays and exactly what to order. So make sure to subscribe to my channel.
And I'm here because I was fortunate enough to accompany BoopFoodie to these Michelin Star restaurants, and I'll be giving my view too.
We've been married for 1 year, and one of the many things that we have in common is
our love for Indian food.
Our idea of a perfect Friday night out in London is visiting the latest new Indian restaurant or trying an Indian fine dining restaurant. We've shared reviews on my food and travel pages, BoopFoodie, of more than 100 Indian restaurants in London. So we really understand the Indian food scene here in London. We've been to lots of different types of restaurants, from high-end Michelin star luxury Indian restaurants to really casual street food style Indian restaurants. So in this video, we're going to talk through each of the 7 Michelin star Indian restaurants in London that we visited. After that, we're going to both rank those 7 Michelin star Indian restaurants. So I think it'll be really interesting, because the thing about food and restaurant reviews is that no two people will have the same opinion or experience at a restaurant. So I think it'll be interesting to hear from both of us our perspectives on each of the restaurants and where each of them rank.
And I'm pretty sure we won't have the same order either.
Let's see. So after that, there's a lot of really good Indian restaurants that we've visited, and we're actually quite surprised that they're not on the Michelin star list and that there is only 7. So outside of India, London is one of the places that has some of the best Indian food around the world. So in our view, there's definitely a few more restaurants that should be on that Michelin star list. What do you think?
I visited a few that I really loved. Some of them were even better than the Michelin Star ones.
And we do both have a controversial opinion on one particular Indian Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, and we haven't got a controversial opinion just to raise some drama. We genuinely feel the way we do about each of these restaurants that we're talking about.
This is actually really exciting, because obviously Chigsy has appeared in lots of my travel vlogs, but this is my first time getting him to join in a sit-down video. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of him on my channel.
And I may not be a natural like BoopFoodie, but I'm going to try my best here.
I feel like doing that trend where it's like, be nice to my husband.
I think we should all be nice to each other.
That's a good idea. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the 7 Michelin star Indian restaurants in London. So we're going to talk through the 7 Michelin star Indian restaurants first in alphabetical order, and just talk through the different style of each of the restaurants and what we thought of them. So we're starting with Amaya, which is actually the Indian Michelin star restaurant that we visited most recently.
I thought Amaya was fantastic. It's a great concept. It was barbecued tandoor oven meats and vegetables. I absolutely loved it.
It was really unique as well, so I think they're doing something very different there. It's from the same group as Veeraswamy and Chutney Mary, so two restaurants that we really like on the London Indian restaurant scene.
I mean, everything was fantastic there. I loved every little bit of it.
What Amaya are doing, it's a little bit different. So they're doing like an Indian tapas style menu. So they encourage you to order lots of small plates. They have a huge selection of vegetarian, seafood, meats. And what was really good is that for the tapas, you can order them in either small or large portions. So depending on if you're a couple or if you're sharing with more people, I think the food portions then are perfect. You don't have too much or too little.
Yeah, they were really encouraging us to have a look at the salads and as you said, the grilled barbecued meats and vegetables. And it was not so much your kind of standard starter and mains, was it? It wasn't having a curry for your mains and a lamb kebab or something like that for your starter. They're really encouraging the salads alongside the grilled meats and vegetables. And then we did actually get a curry at the end. But
yeah, you were very happy with that one, I remember.
It's extremely unique. So we were having a debate about whether to get the butter chicken, which is what BoopFoodie's favourite curry dish is, or whether we should get the lamb leg, which just sounded fantastic when we were reading it in the menu. And we decided to go for the lamb leg, and I don't think either of us regretted that because it was so good.
Yeah, like usually I would order the butter chicken, but because we'd had so many of the small plates, we decided to just share a curry. And Chigsy persuaded me to go for the lamb leg, and it was a really good choice. They poured the sauce over it as it was like sizzling, on the plate. So it was really cool, the presentation, and it tasted great. I think, thinking back to Amaya, the only thing that annoyed me a little bit was they wouldn't let me take any videos over near the open kitchen area. And I get it if you don't want the chefs to be in it, but they had these really cool tandoor ovens that I really wanted to show in my videos. I wish you could have seen how cool they look, because that's where they were cooking all of the grilled chickens and all the grilled meats, and it just looked really authentic. And yeah, it was quite exciting to be able to see that in the restaurant, but I guess you'll just have to go there to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I agree. That was a bit annoying, but I mean, it was the ambience, the service, everything about it. I thought was just really top class. You do pay for the quality though, because I think it is at the higher end in terms of price range. But I think it's well worth it for a special occasion. And that lamb leg, I can't get over how good it was. It's so Moorish. I couldn't stop eating it.
It's really nice.
What did you do with your lamb?
So they had some really unique naan on the menu, but I just wanted a basic garlic and coriander naan, so they did make that up for me off menu. So I used that and I made it into an Indian style kebab. So I took the garlic naan and I put the lamb with that curry sauce, and it came with like onions and salad and stuff. So made a little kebab for myself, and I did not regret that.
I, on the other hand, just had mine with a bit of rice and a bit of naan, but it was so good. I was eating some of it on its own. It was that good. I just didn't need anything else with it. I could go back there right now and have some.
We won't be going back yet, but one day. So shall we move on to the next one?
I think we should, yeah.
So do you know what's next?
I think A, and the next letter after A is B.
B for Benares. So Chixie had actually been to Benares before, a long time ago.
A long time ago, yes. And I have good memories of it, but it definitely got refreshed, and the memories were even bettered by this occasion that we went.
And I just want to flag, so when we attended Benares, as part of this series that we were filming, Benares was one of 2 restaurants that we were invited to. So when I'm invited to restaurants, it's usually on a no obligation to post basis. Obviously, they want us to come and check it out, see what it's like. So Benares and one other restaurant on the list that I'll tell you about. They were invites, but I think we both agreed we would definitely go back and pay for Benares ourselves, and definitely go there for like a special occasion or something. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Benares, obviously it's high end. I think it's been around, well established, been around for a very long time. And I think what really stood out for me was the kind of service and the hospitality. I know it was an invite, but I don't think you received special treatment to the other guests, because I saw the same being applied to others. And I think that's it's a fantastic thing to have that Michelin Star, to be such a well-renowned and well-respected restaurant, but to maintain that emphasis on hospitality. This is meant to be an evening, a night out, not just all about the food quality. I thought that was fantastic.
And we tried the tasting menu at Benares, so they had some really uniquely presented dishes. I think the first kind of pre-menu snack was presented in a flower pot. Do you remember? They had these like Indian snacks on these sticks in a flower pot with an Indian plant. It was really cool. It was a nice way to present it. And yeah, I just remember, I think after like the 5th or 6th course, going into a complete food coma. Jigsy had to just wake me up from it, but I was eating everything and it was incredible.
Well, I think you were in a state of happiness as well as a food coma.
Delirium.
I did take some photos of you, and it was probably some of the happiest you've ever looked in photos.
He loves that photo.
But my standout dishes were this seafood moli that they had as part of the tasting menu. I think it was clams and halibut, I think it was, but fantastic sauce, fantastic flavours. I couldn't get enough of it. And the hiran boti, I think it was hiran boti
Kebab.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was venison.
Venison. Oh,
you
God,
loved that.
That was so good. There's about 5 or 6 dishes I've had at Frosty's restaurants, which I just, sometimes I just think about and think back to those memories, eating away at this beautiful piece of meat.
Do you look back on it with the same kind of fondness as you look back on your wedding day?
Yeah, different feelings, obviously, but it's fantastic, really good. And there was no dish across the taste menu. There wasn't a dish I didn't enjoy. It was just so good.
Yeah, I remember it was like the lamb chop pilau. And actually, when we went to Sema, which is the only Michelin Star restaurant in New York City, they had a similar dish that you tried. Remember?
Yes, yeah,
it was really good.
Well, that was Sema was fantastic, but we're not here to talk about Sema today. That's for another day.
We could do another video on Sema. We really enjoyed that. Okay, so what's next after Benares?
Well, we've got A, B. We're going from 2 cracking experiences at 2 fantastic restaurants to a restaurant which I particularly didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the experience as much as I thought I would. And ironically enough, it's the 2 Michelin Star restaurant that we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, I think that's really important to highlight. So out of the 7 Michelin Star Indian restaurants in London, 6 of them have been awarded 1 Michelin Star. And then Gymkhana is the only one that has 2 Michelin Stars. So we had been to Gymkhana probably like 4 or 5 years ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we revisited as part of this series. So we didn't have a great experience the first time. Both times we went at lunchtime, and our experience was that the service was okay, but it just really dropped off during the meal. I remember we were waiting a long time for our drinks, and the food was quite slow coming out. And then on the most recent experience, which I just don't think is acceptable for a 2 Michelin Star restaurant, they got our order wrong. So they brought out the wrong dal. And then by the time that they replaced it, I was nearly finished the rest of the meal. I didn't really need the dal anymore. And they left it on the price. So when the bill came, they had left the dal on it. And I do think if you make a mistake like that and bring it out later so that it can't be enjoyed as much as it should be, you should just remove that from the bill. So that was surprising. And Gymkhana obviously has like a 2-month waiting list, a huge minimum spend per person at dinner. We went at lunchtime. What were your thoughts, Chixie?
Well, I think, as soon as we walked in, I was a bit taken aback by the lack of kind of welcome, which I think, for me, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but it's kind of, that really makes a big impression on me, whether you get the nice kind of welcome, the hospitality, it sets the tone. There was one good dish that I enjoyed very much. I thought it was extremely tasty, the kid goat methi keema, which came as a starter.
Yeah, I think we've had that both times, and yeah, that was really good. We definitely enjoyed it.
So it wasn't such a bad start in terms of the food, but then it kind of deteriorated. I ordered the lamb shank for my mains. I love a lamb shank. I love lamb dishes.
And how many lamb shanks do you think you've had at Indian restaurants across the last few years?
I'd say approaching 50.
So Jixie knows his lamb shank curry.
I know my lamb shank curry, and obviously the lamb shank is an important part of it. How it's cooked, how it's marinated, how the kind of meat drops off from the bone. And that wasn't the big issue with Gymkhana. That was fine. The big issue was the curry, which I wouldn't really call a curry, to be honest. I call it a tin of passata. So it was just flavourless, and it was so surprising. I mean, this is, I've had lamb shanks down the local Indian restaurant or the Balti, where you get some flavour, you get some masalas, you get some ground spices. I was taken aback by how poor it was. I don't know whose taste buds that curry was there to satisfy. Whether it was just for people who couldn't handle spices, or I'm not too sure. But you could literally just pour a tin of passata or something equivalent to that into a lamb shank, and it would be a similar dish.
So strong views on the lamb shank curry. I will say the butter chicken is one of the dishes they're famous for, and that's really nice. I enjoyed it, but I think it's just the overall experience, and given that super high expectation and super high bar that they set. And I think my conclusion from walking away from visiting Gymkhana twice is that it's become a tourist Indian restaurant. So I see tourists coming from America, coming from across the world, saying they're here to visit the world's best Indian restaurant. And I'm sorry, but there are far better Indian restaurants in London, and we'll tell you about them later on. So next we're moving to Jamavar, and I've actually seen a lot of pretty poor reviews about Jamavar recently. So I think in our video, I said it's an absolutely beautiful place. So I really liked, it's decorated very beautifully, really regal. It has such a nice feel to it. Even though we were seated downstairs, I just thought that the space was really beautiful. And the starters and the desserts I thought were excellent. So my big issue with Jamavar was the mains were just pretty average. So I ordered the butter chicken, and it was mainly just the sauce to chicken ratio. So I think there was only like 3 pieces of chicken in the butter chicken, and for the price you're paying, it just wasn't enough. So that was my main issue with Jamavar.
I agree with the butter chicken. I remember that quite well. There was a few pieces of chicken in the curry sauce. Funnily enough, the hospitality was quite good. The service was good. I did feel like they did look after us, but the food just wasn't up to the standard of some of the other restaurants that we've discussed already, and some of the ones that we'll be discussing later.
I remember for the starter we had soft shell crab, that was incredible, and the dessert that stood out for me, it was like a pistachio milk cake that was really nice as well.
Yeah.
Next we're headed to the Quilon, which is the Indian restaurant at the Taj Hotel in London near Victoria. This is the second restaurant on the list that we attended as part of a PR invite.
I really enjoyed the Quilon. It was a lunch menu. I think we've got to discuss the value when we're talking about these restaurants. So £48 for a lunch menu.
At a Michelin Star restaurant is pretty good value.
I thought it was really good value. Every dish for me, very good. Nothing to complain about. Service very good. It wasn't very busy in terms of our table. Was kind of standing alone in terms of having people eating.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only thing for me that would take away from the experience. Although the food was lovely, and I loved that it was really unique, and I think it was served like a thali, if I remember correctly. So lots of small plates, they all came together. But it was quite quiet, and I just didn't feel the buzz around it that I would probably expect from a Michelin Star restaurant. So a little bit more in the atmosphere would be nice. But I think they've done some renovations recently. Most of these restaurants do annual upgrades, so it will be interesting to return and see what it's like.
Yeah, there is one dish I do have to call out. So I talked about, there being 4 or 5 across this list that I sometimes just think about and remember as being good.
One of them was from the Quilon.
One of them was from the Quilon. It was a chicken pepper masala. And it was this piece of chicken, it was just marinated so well, and there was so much tender love and care that had gone into it, and I really, really did enjoy that.
It was served with a roti, wasn't it?
I think
It's
it
really
was,
good.
yeah, but it was just so good.
So next we're moving to Trishna, so another restaurant from the JKS group. So a lot of those really high-end Indian restaurants in London are part of the JKS group.
So it's important to mention that it was a New Year's Eve tasting menu.
Yeah, so we did spend a bit more than the usual tasting menu experience at Trishna. I think, it was quite an expensive night out. But again, we did the whole tasting menu. I was blown away by it. Like some of those dishes, I remember in particular the biryani, it had rose petals on it, and I'm a sucker for a really cute presentation, but it tasted so beautiful as well. It was really full of flavour, very fragrant. The standout dish for me at Trishna was the Dorset crab in coconut curry. I remember it was really sweet. It just tasted perfect. I really enjoyed that dish.
My highlight was the Malad chutney sheet kebab. That kebab, incredible. It doesn't look like much, but when we started tucking into it, it's so tasty.
But what was your view on Trishna overall?
Well, again, I think the hospitality, unfortunately, it's New Year's Eve, we're paying a lot for this tasting menu. We walked in, there's a little cloakroom where they take your jackets, but it didn't really feel like we were entering a restaurant on a festive occasion. It kind of felt just like another day, and I thought the service could have been better. Nothing was obviously wrong with it in terms of, we didn't get the wrong dishes or anything like that, but I thought they could have just been a bit more attentive, a bit more cheerful with us. And but I thought, again, every dish on this tasting menu was really, really good. I think you're paying for quality. Are you paying too much? I'm not too sure, because I think so, maybe. I think you might be paying too much.
I do think I've seen lots of other bloggers sharing recently that they have a lunch menu. So perhaps they have a value menu now that's more affordable. But I think for a very special occasion, it was a nice treat.
Yeah, it's lovely. I can't complain, although I have.
So now we've only the last one, isn't it?
The last one, yeah.
So the last one on the list is Veeraswamy, which is in fact the oldest Michelin Star restaurant in London. So they've been around for over 100 years. They've had the Michelin Star for a long time. They're actually in danger of closing. I understand there's a big petition to keep it open, which we've both definitely signed. We're big fans of Veeraswamy. I think that was the first one we visited as part of this series as well, so it's quite special.
I really enjoyed Veeraswamy. The hospitality was spot on. The service was really, really good. I think they definitely looked after us. I'd say there wasn't a standout dish for me. I thought everything was very good. And I was really happy with it. It's a really good meal. I can't argue with the Michelin Star. And I really hope, they can carry on, because I think it's especially for people who visited a long time ago and continue to visit today, I think it's quite an important part of, the culinary experience in London. It's a beautiful restaurant.
It's true. Okay, so now we've been through them all. So shall we do our ranking of London's Michelin Star Indian restaurants?
Let's go for it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to say number 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're each going to say number 7, each going to say number 6. So let's start. So in 7th place, I feel like we both have the same one for this. We say 3, 2, 1, and then we both say number 7.
Right.
3, 2, 1. Gymkhana.
And this is not clickbait.
No. I think I really wanted to enjoy it the second time, because I'd seen all those videos saying how incredible it is. I think, for the reasons that we've already said, the hype and the expectations are just too high for what the experience is.
And the price as well. You've also got to think about the amount you're paying for that. You need to have a good experience after you're paying that much money.
They can't be getting orders wrong, and the service can't just drop off midway through the meal. I do think both times we went, it was kind of towards the end of the lunch sitting, and I feel like people go on their lunch break, the staff go on their lunch break, because suddenly there's just nobody available to take your orders, nobody's checking in to see how the dish is, that kind of thing.
I agree. I mean, again, as I just keep reiterating, if you're going to a 2 Michelin star restaurant, you're paying all that money, it could be that the one time in a year or in a couple of years you visit such a high-end restaurant and you do really expect to be treated like royalty.
True.
It seems like they have got a bit complacent. Obviously, maybe on other occasions it's been good for people.
And there are other really high-end Indian restaurants that we'll come to. There's one in particular that I think, and I'm sure you agree, deserves the 2 Michelin stars in London. It's really pricey, so it's not about that we want it to be better value. I think for a 2 Michelin star restaurant, if you get the quality and experience that you're paying for, then it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going there because of you want to have a good time. You're ready to spend the money because it's a high-end restaurant. It's just that when you're spending that money, you expect the hospitality, the service, the ambience, and the food to be fantastic. I think the ambience was fine. I think all of the rest of it wasn't. Yeah,
fair enough. Okay, so 6th place, do you want to go first?
For me, in 6th place, it's Jamavar. As I said earlier, we greeted really well. Ambience of the restaurant, lovely restaurant, and service was great. But the food did just let it down. I ordered the butter chicken for my mains, and as we said earlier, the chicken to curry sauce ratio was just off. There wasn't enough piece of chicken. I also remember ordering a bottle of beer, and that was quite expensive. It was £9 or £10. I appreciate it's a Michelin star restaurant, but again, some of these restaurants do some really nice beers on tap and stuff like that. But that was a bit disappointing too. So in 6th place, Jamavar.
Fair enough. My 6th place is actually the Quilon. So again, I did really like the food. I just didn't feel like I was eating in a Michelin star restaurant, and I think with the standard of the other ones, I'd probably put the Quilon in 6th place for that reason.
Okay, what's your 5th place?
My 5th place is actually Jamavar, so sticking with Jamavar. I've just remembered one of the main issues that I had with Jamavar was I went there specifically to try the lobster curry dish. It was lobster neruli, I think. And the dish that I got just looked completely different to the dish that they have on their website and all over social media. So I don't know if that's just like a promo pic, but as someone who will literally stalk an Instagram page from a restaurant before I visit to decide exactly what I want to order, I want the food I get to look like what I see on their website and on the dishes. So I think because of the main courses, I would put Jamavar in 5th place.
Okay.
What's your 5th?
My 5th place is Trishna. Now, we are talking about some very high quality restaurants here, so being 5th out of 7 isn't the worst thing in the world, I think.
It's true.
It was, I couldn't fault the food, really good quality food, every dish tasty, every dish had its own unique flavours. I couldn't fault anything. I thought the pricing was, a bit high compared to what it could have been, and also I felt the hospitality and the service wasn't quite there.
Fair enough. So 4th place.
For me? 4th place for me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 4th place for me would be the Quilon. Again, I can't fault any of the food. I thought the Quilon was great in terms of service and the hospitality. I thought, as we mentioned earlier, it was quite empty, the restaurant, so you didn't really get that buzz, that feeling that you're in a hot kind of special place. But yeah, in fourth place isn't bad, I guess, out of 7.
No, I think that's fair. So my fourth place, I'm trying to think of the ones that are left. So I would put Amaya in fourth place. So I think it was really nice. I liked everything. I guess I just preferred the other ones that we'll come to. I think I do like that Amaya is doing something really different and unique. So definitely well worth the visit. But yeah, on my list, that comes in at fourth place. But I'll move on to third place. So my third place would be Veeraswamy. So again, we went at lunchtime. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a timeless luxury Indian restaurant, and we're really lucky to have it in London. So that is what I would put in third place on my list.
Well, we're in agreement on third place. Yeah, we're reaching the business end now, and we've both got the same third place. Veeraswamy, again, couldn't fault it, and we're really hoping that restaurant can continue in the way it has been over many years, because it's a fantastic place and we had a fantastic experience.
Well, so now we've second.
Yeah.
And first. Wait, do you want to go with your second place?
Well, what have we got left? So drum roll.
So the two that do we both have the same two left? No. So I have Trishna and Benares left, and what do you have?
I have Benares and Amaya left.
Okay. So what's your second place?
My second place is. Or shall we just say what our first place is? Because I think that.
But then I feel like the second place doesn't get any attention.
All right, we'll start off with our second place, but then everyone will know what our first place is.
Okay, we can say what the first place is.
And our first place...
Our first place, because we are in agreement, aren't we?
We think we're in agreement.
Well, I'm pretty sure we discussed it, we're in agreement. Our first place is... Benares! So we both absolutely loved Benares. Can't fault it. Would definitely return there for a special occasion, and just know that I would be guaranteed with an amazing experience and really high quality Indian food.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was a slam dunk for me. The fact that they've still got their hospitality and the service levels up there whilst having this fantastic menu and the food just delivered with so much love and care. I think it's not only one of the best Indian restaurant experiences in London, I think it is the best restaurant experience in London for me.
Oh, wow. That's really high praise. So I guess that means your second place is Amaya.
Amaya, which I absolutely loved. I love the concept. I love the tandoor oven meats and vegetables. I love that they were pushing, this concept. So, you don't just have to go down your traditional route of a starter, a mains and a dessert. You get your grills, you get what you like from the menu. And if you're full, you don't need to get a curry. That's
true. And my second place is obviously Trishna. So I really enjoyed it. We'll definitely go back there. It's obviously really pricey experience, but no, I definitely rated that quite high. So I think now that we've done the rating, John, just summarise your 7 and I'll summarise mine.
Yep, sure. Okay. So in 7th place for me was Gymkhana, in 6th place Jamavar, in 5th place Trishna, in 4th place the Quilon, 3rd Veeraswamy, 2nd Amaya, and number 1 is the fantastic Benares.
And for me it was 7th place Gymkhana, 6th place the Quilon, 5th place Jamavar, 4th place Amaya, 3rd place Veeraswamy, 2nd place Trishna, and 1st place Benares. But there are a lot of Indian restaurants in London that we think deserve Michelin stars and that recognition. So we're just going to really quickly tell you about some other luxury Indian restaurants in London that we think should be on your list. And I think it's a bit about watch the space, because maybe they'll get a Michelin star in the future.
Yeah, and before we do, can I just plug 3 restaurants that I really enjoy in London, but I don't think particularly, are in that kind of field of getting a Michelin star.
He's going rogue here. This was never discussed when we were planning the session, but go for it.
Well, I have to mention Tayyab's and Tayyab's lamb chops. I think, that place, I think it's well renowned and it's well known. It's a fantastic place to eat and a great evening out with the bring your own booze.
But I think it's interesting because I don't like Tayyab's. I know I get a lot of flack if I said that on social media, but I feel like, not every restaurant is for everyone. I feel like you have a lot of fun when you go there with the guys and have some beers, but yeah, not for me.
Well, everyone's got their own opinion. I'm glad we agreed on number 1 though earlier. That's good. So I think that kind of summarises our relationship, doesn't it? Overarching agreement, but we've got some
on the
differences.
Important things, but yes. We don't necessarily agree on everything.
The 2 others are the Shad, which is a Indian restaurant on Tooley Street. I just have to praise the Shad because we've had so many good evenings out there with our friends.
The Shad used to be our like Indian restaurant that we would go to every Friday night after work. So a lot of special memories there, and they have a really strong chili shot that you can try if you're feeling brave. But yeah, beware.
Yeah, you put yourself at risk by having that chili shot. So we would advise to apply a lot of caution before undertaking that big.
And you've probably tried everything on their menu at this stage, I'd say.
I've tried a lot of their menu.
Yeah,
yes.
they have a really big menu, actually.
They've got a really good lamb shank dish. But anyway, we'll move on to my third one that I just wanted to plug very quickly, which is...
I love that you're just sneaking this into the video.
Which is just trying to sneak this into BoopFoodie.
Well, I have no idea what he's going to say.
Trattoria, which is in the city. I have to give a plug to our friend Jamshed, who is working very hard at Trattoria. It's a relatively new restaurant. And again, we went there and every dish was fantastic, and we've been a couple of times.
Yeah, we brought our friends there again because we liked it so much.
Yeah, and they serve their own beer on tap, which
I know how to win Chicksy over.
And it was a really good beer as well. So yeah, those are my three. Apologies to hijack.
That's okay. I'm sure people would love to hear about them. So there's one restaurant in London. Chigsy took me there. I think, was it for my birthday or was it for Valentine's Day?
It's for your birthday.
It was for my birthday a few years ago, and he literally set the bar so high because it is one of the best restaurants in London. It is BB in Mayfair, so it's also part of the JKS group. So the chef is doing some really unique, incredible things with Indian food. It's a tasting menu concept. It's quite pricey, but some very unique dishes there. It's been a few years since we were there. We did go back to one of his pop-ups, so he does some really random pop-ups from time to time that are definitely worth checking out. But yeah, absolutely baffles me why it doesn't have a Michelin star, let alone it should have 2 Michelin stars, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic food experience. You get treated so well over there as well. I think they know what hospitality is at BB. I'd say similar to Benares in that every dish on the tasting menu is so good. I think they're slightly more innovative, if anything, than Michelin Star restaurants.
Really unique. Yeah, I feel like their menu's probably changed a lot, so I'm not going to go into detail on the dishes that we tried, but what they're doing it's what you expect from a Michelin Star restaurant. Really unique, innovative dishes. So next, I want to mention Couture. So Couture it's hidden in a townhouse in Chelsea, and I absolutely loved it. It's such a unique restaurant because it's got lots of little rooms. It feels like you're walking into somebody's house, like into their little living room, and then up to the conservatory. So really nice, and the food was incredible. So top class, really unique. I remember. Do you remember what you got? I was going to talk about it otherwise.
I think it was a lamb shank, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I had like bone marrow and artichoke. So again, doing some like really unique concepts when it came to the sauces as well.
I couldn't agree with you more. I thought very unique restaurant experience with it. It seeming like you're going to someone's house, and then again, ambience, service, hospitality, food, all spot on.
Next one, Brigadier's, is one of our favourite restaurants in London, again part of the JKS group. We went there for our engagement celebration. We went there for New Year's Eve one year. They do incredible butter chicken wings. They're really, really good. It's a barbecue focused menu, but yeah, I've never had a bad meal there. And I think, again, because it's such high quality, high service, I think it deserves 1 Michelin star.
Absolutely. I think that kid goat roti dish
is
one of my favourites. Fantastic. And I love what they're doing with the barbecue style meats, and it's quite a unique experience in terms of high-end restaurants in London too, because they've got the sports screens.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's like a sleek sports bar type vibe.
Yeah, so it's good for an evening out, good fun.
The next one is the Tamil Prince. So I think it's on the Michelin Guide, but we think it deserves a Michelin star. So they're doing South Indian style food. They're doing it really well. Their dosa is pretty famous now in London, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but I think everything on the menu is fantastic. The last time we visited, we got the masala spiced fish, masala spiced sea bream, which was so good, so flavoursome, and we ate every last bit of it.
It's a really high-end gastro pub. We've been to their other restaurants as well and loved them. And then I think the last one we wanted to mention is Chutney Mary. So again, it's very fine dining. I don't know how it doesn't have 1 Michelin star. Yeah, you loved one of their dishes, didn't you?
Yes, the baked venison samosa, again, one of the best starter dishes I've ever had. It was just so good. If you don't want to go there for a whole meal, just go there for the baked venison samosa. You just order five of them.
Be an interesting experience, but yeah, you won't be disappointed. So thank you for watching. So I do have a blog post on my travel and food blog, betboop.com, where we talk about these restaurants in a bit more detail. You can read a bit about our experience at each of them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will link the playlist that has all of these videos so you can go and watch them all after this. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Yeah, and we don't agree either, do we?
So we'll be able to share those with you after. Sorry, I just ignored all my advice to you and started fixing myself as you were talking.
Right, so we've gone from 2 crackers.
So the next restaurant is... Sorry, you can do that. You can do that you're on this video.
Right, in 6th place, we have 3, 2, 1.
Well, I have a different six. We don't always have the same.
Okay, then you ask me what one.
Okay, so what's in 6th place for you, chicken?